is in a matter of Keith Edward Gilbert, file number 18-50727GA and file number 24-1-50727CA.
All right, court's been asked to modify the guardianship and I believe to appoint a conservator in this case. May I have the names of our participants beginning in the courtroom.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Ariel Berger here as the guardian ad litem.
Michael Edmund, I'm appearing on behalf of petitioner, Your Honor. I'm sorry, Michael Edmund, I'm appearing on behalf of petitioner.
Very good. And who's our petitioner?
Brittany Stornant. Oh, you need to unmute.
There we go. Brittany Stornant, one of the social workers at Lenawee Medical, and I have Keith here with me.
Okay, welcome. All right, could our other two participants introduce themselves too as well, please? Let's start with Ms. Sandra Bailey. You can introduce yourself and tell us what brings you in today.
I'm Sandra Bailey. I work at Lenawee Medical Care Facility. I do the billing.
You ready for me? So
Yes,
I'm Tina Weitengerber. I am going to hopefully take over the guardianship and conservator for my dad, Keith.
All right, why don't we go to our guardian ad litem first for her comments and recommendations.
Yes, Your Honor. I was able to visit in person with Mr. Gilbert. He was not really aware of how long he'd been at the facility. He thought he'd only been there a day, but he's been there at least since 2018 or 2019. But he was pleasant enough. He does say that he still needs help and that his son, Eddie, is the one who's helping him now. He's not objectionable to one of his other children being that person for him. I do think that he still needs a guardian. One has been in place since 2018. And I think the conservatorship will be helpful in making sure payments are being made. They were pretty far behind on payments, but Miss Weitengruber, I think that's how you say it, she did get that caught up with her own personal money. When they became aware that there was a need for somebody else to take over, she stepped up and she is making herself available to be that person for her father. She has no criminal record, no bankruptcies. She seems like an appropriate person to be able to take over. I believe the facility is in support of that as well. The workers there and the caseworker there and their attorney seem to be in support of that. My original question was if she would be able to make visits, but she says that she will be able to make visits with her father. I know that they do live pretty far away, the two daughters, and then Mr. Edward Gilbert, the current guardian, he does live local, but he's in support of his sister taking over as well. He did not plan to attend today, and neither did their other sibling, Tammy. She also is in support of Tina taking over, thinks that she would be appropriate, and they are all willing to work together to make sure that things like this don't happen again.
All right, Mr. Levenbaum, any further presentation from you then?
No, Your Honor, I couldn't agree more, and that was very well put. So.
Thank you. Yes, I always appreciate Ms. Berger's investigations and thoroughness. Thank you as well. Thank you. I have also in support of the request for a written report and historic medical reports. I guess the only other question, oh yes, here it is. There is in fact an additional updated report of physician or mental health professional executed by a doctor on March 21st, 2024, a physician of internal medicine, Seegerman perhaps, operating somewhere over on Tame Creek Highway. Assuming I've read that last name correctly, it's difficult when they haven't typed it. Indicating that as a result of an interview with Mr. Gilbert, he found unspecified dementia severe with other behavioral disturbance, major depressive disorder, recurrent mild, other disorders, and insomnia is unspecified. Severe cognitive impairment. In short, there is a medication list attached, and despite those interventions, The doctor finds Mr. Gilbert continues to be a person who is not able to make informed decisions in the areas of determining where to live, consenting to supportive services, handling personal financial affairs, and authorizing or refusing medical treatment with a prognosis of poor. That is consistent with the history in this case, and is supported, of course, by the investigation conducted by the guardian ad litem and the court's own observations as well. So we do have clear and convincing evidence of the incapacity that continues to rise to the level that a guardian is appropriate. There was also the issue of finances that was investigated and gave rise to the petition requesting a conservator as well. And those same grounds, that same clear and convincing evidence does indicate to the court that a conservator is necessary. And certainly there is the need to be able to redirect or simply direct funds to provide for Mr. Gilbert at the level of care that he requires. For all those reasons, I am granting the request to modify the guardianship to allow Ms. Tina Bettengruber to become our new guardian and appointing her as the conservator. So I will sign those orders as well as the letters of authority. I'm sorry that you have to come in and ask me for this, Ms. Bettengruber, but I appreciate you stepping up to intervene and to take care of your day. Unless there's any questions, that's all for today.
Thank you very
Thank
much,
you.
Your Honor.
I do have a question about the 2 visits a month. Do I need to document that, or do I need to check in, or how is that going to be monitored? Because that is
Well,
going to be a challenge for me because I live 2.5 hours away, especially depending if we get a rough winter, you know, that might be a challenge. That's my only concern. I mean, I'll do what I can to make it happen, but I don't want to put my life at risk trying to get down there for a visit.
Well, we certainly don't want you doing that. That's the gold standard. That's what we ask of our individuals who come through our court. Mr. Levenbaum can tell you that that's more than what the statute actually requires. And as long as you're checking in with him, you know, and checking in with the facility and just making sure that he's all right on a basis that, you know, I can trust that you're in the know, basically, about what's happening with your dad, and putting eyes on him enough and often enough that we know and you know that he's doing okay, frankly.
And Your Honor, just to be clear, we can always make arrangements for video visits.
Yes.
And I think that the court would be okay with a video visit as long as there's an in-person visit once every quarter as required by the statute. Am I wrong about that?
No, that's correct. Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so there you go.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
I think I'm good. I think I got some work to do, but we'll get through it.
And we'll all help you.
Actually, well, I like questions about like his additional insurance. I know there's a Blue Cross Blue Shield that's being paid for, and I'm just wondering if that's needed. You know, is that one of the expenses we could drop? Is that something I would work with Sandra on or somebody at the facility?
Yeah, I can't answer that question for you. That might be a question better put to the facility. I would encourage you to give them a call or Mr. Levenbaum a call after today's hearing.
Absolutely. I'd be happy